You already.
This is pretty much as good as it gets, huh?
I mean, listen, bro. Everybody can't have that kind of body, bro. It takes a real man to have that kind of body, bro. And you're very strong too. So, I mean, I'm not one to let the optics fool me, bro. So,
What they do with my wedding ring?
well, for the purposes of the shoot, bro, it was so big, it was really having an effect on the camera, on the shot, the lens, that the clarity of that rock, bro, that gold ring that you got, bro. We had to kind of tone it down a little bit, bro.
All right, then. I guess I can buy that. Wow. I think I'm being lied to, but as they say, sometimes lying is good. Isn't that the line you usually
is
give?
good.
You said,
Love is good.
"Oh
Evil.
Lord."
Hey, man, Vampire Brooklyn's a classic, man. Let's get the show started, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, batten down the hatches. We'd like to introduce you to the greatest combat sports show bar none. You are now in the Beatdown.
You wanna get beat down?
Let us now introduce you to your host, the Badger, and
Hey, Monday morning. Shout out to those who are on spring break. We don't get one. So, hey, teachers that put in all that hard work, you deserve this week. But teachers who have children, that's pretty much all I can say. You didn't know you were going to be a teacher before you had these children? You didn't know you were going to need a break? Sucks to be you right now.
You're such a mean person, bro.
No,
that was
I'm not.
not needed, bro.
It wasn't needed.
Shout out to all the teachers out there, man, working triple and quadruple time and still ain't getting their COVID shots, man.
Listen,
Bro.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's Monday, man. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. How you feeling? You had a whole couple, 48 hours to digest this weekend. To digest the events of the weekend, and I know we're going to talk a lot about Marvin Hagler in this episode. But before we go off to that, bro, can we start with some really interesting boxing news that I woke up to this morning? And I'm sure you'll probably be on board with this.
Sure.
Bro, did you see when the WBA has suspended one of the judges from the Chocolatito Estrada fight?
Whoa, didn't hear that.
Yeah, they suspended him. The guy that had the scorecard, I think it was Sucre. Don't fight at your nation if y'all got the name of the judge, shoot it over to us, but I think it was Sucre. He had to score 117, 111. They suspended him, bro, to investigate what fight he was watching. Previously, commissions have done this. I would like to see something, I guess, more finite happen here. But, bro, Adelaide Bird was back in the saddle less than 30 days after she bumbled up the Canelo Gennady Golovkin one scorecard. So it's all pomp and circumstance?
Pretty much. She received a good bag of money, sit at home for 30 days, and she went right back to doing what she was doing before. You can't tell me that the promoters and the judges aren't in bed together and the commission aren't in bed together. There's no way. Because you look at some of these fights throughout history, recent history, forget about going back. You can look since 2020, because it was very evident in the pandemic because you didn't have fan distraction. You actually got to see the fight and you're like, what was the judge seeing? And if they ever investigated those in the UFC, it would be hilarious. But yeah, I'm glad. I hope something real comes of this, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the most could happen. I don't know if they could reverse the decision. I'm not sure, but
nah. And that's the weird part about things like this, because I have two. This is crazy, and I want to get your thoughts on this, bro. Because I feel, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, when the fight is close, like that fight, I think that's kind of the built-in drama of the human scoring element, kind of like balls and strikes in baseball. I don't think that the judge and error in question got it wrong, but I'm like you. I think there's something wrong with the scoring margin. Because I think you and I, most people kind of feel like they could see how the fight could have gone either way. Now, who you thought was the victor is on you, but I don't think anybody is up in arms that Estrada won, right? So it's not a robbery per se, but then there's another element of thought that says, well, it is a robbery because the right guy didn't win. Bro, I don't really know how to feel about that, but I feel like, I'm not, and I didn't get to watch the fight like you did, but based on what I saw from the highlights, I don't know. And the other two judges' scorecards, 115, 113, either way for each guy. I don't see, bro, how I can be really mad about the decision, but I can be concerned about the scoring margin.
I think there should be a rule of margins on this. If someone is so out of focus with the rest of the judges, maybe their scorecard is disqualified.
Yeah, but now you only got 2 cards.
But now you have a draw. In this situation, you'd have a draw. But 117, 111. I mean, I heard Stevie Wonder called in and said, which fight was he watching? I mean, it's crazy. To me, have a rule of margins. If you're so, and it could work the other way. If it was clearly a 117, 111 fight or 118, 110, and then you had a judge that had a 115, 113, that gets to, I mean, it's got to be something that we can do, because the term "don't let it go to the judges" goes way back, almost to the inception of ring judges.
Yeah. And I mean, especially if there's a sense where there is, like a clear A side, B side guy. In this fight, both of these guys, I mean, I'm not sure that probably mattered because, this Estrada and Chocolatito, bro. It doesn't get no better than that. But I do think there's something in what you're saying. But if we get it right, though, right, then...
If we get it right, then we get it right. But if you have something that's so far off, there was a fight the other day. Oh my goodness, who was it? Because I talked about it on here, where the judges had it close. And
was it the championship fight? Was it McCaskill Breakers?
No, this was like last week. It was last week. Where somebody just the judge had it so out of whack. It was so out of whack, and I can't remember. It was a UFC fight, and even shoot, was it the main event from last week? Everybody else had it close, and one judge had them outscored by I think they gave 2 10-8 rounds. No, it was a week before. And it's starting to come back to me. So if it pops in my head, but yeah, I mean, when you have scorecards that are that out of whack, like the Angela Hill fight this past weekend, all 3 judges had a 30-27. It wasn't even a question.
Okay.
But if you had one judge that had it for Spider Monkey, 30-27, then that rule of margins applies. It's like, wait a minute. You're so far off from the other 2 judges. How do we take your scorecard into account? Again, it can work against you as well, but I think it would work for the betterment more than it would against. And then make a decision. If it's a draw, then hey, you rule it a draw, you change the record. You got Chocolatito, he's still a legend, but ever since he suffered that big loss, who was that? It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago. It might have. It might have been a couple years ago because he had back-to-back losses. It was a decision, and he got knocked out. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
he's been working to get back on top since then.
Sure. Yeah. He's earning it. Yeah, he's earned it.
But then you get to this fight, it derails you because the casual fan is the one who buys your pay-per-views. That's the money they're going after. They already have the hardcore fan. So when the casual fans see, Chocolatito lost again, they don't see that, hey, this may be in question. It should have been a draw. They just see Chocolatito lost again. To me, it starts to affect your pocketbook. It affects your future, especially all the wars he's been through and at his age. That means you got to go back and work your way back up from a certain point.
I'm with you for Chocolatito in this discussion. But that's a hard one because Chocolatito's already a legend, bro. Win, lose, or draw in this fight. Let's just be honest. this loss doesn't hurt the legacy of Chalk. It just says that maybe his reign is over because we've already thought that was coming to an end anyway when he had those back-to-back losses. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame. He's gonna be where he needs to be. And Estrada, bro, is one of the and based on what we saw Saturday, bro, he's the best fighter in that division right now. So I mean, I can't be mad, you know.
I mean, from what I saw Saturday, I wouldn't say he's the best fighter in the division.
Boy, you know what I mean. He's not okay. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
You talk about top guys in the weight class. He's in the top 2 or 3. So I can't say this loss hurts his legacy. It's not like he lost somebody he was supposed to watch.
But see,
a lot of you, this was a 50-50 fight.
Right, but don't confuse what I'm saying with legacy, bro. I'm talking about his status now. He's trying to get back and get that strap. That's what he's trying to do. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's not fighting for legacy. He knows he has his legacy. He's fighting to get back on top. He's fighting for that huge payday. He's fighting for that strap. So
yeah, you're right, bro. You're
so
right.
this derails it.
But this is the biggest fight in that weight class, is what I'm saying. It's not like he's got somebody else he can dance with. If he goes and gets the other guy, I can't think of his name. It'll probably be just as big as this fight. But this fight, by all consensus, was the fight of this division, bro. So it's
right.
Not like.
But do you?
Like this is a rematch. This could. We just run this back, right?
Do you really think they're gonna run it back?
I mean, bro. I mean, it's possible, or either guy fights the next guy below them, which all these guys already fought each other. So it's kind of like it ends up being a round robin anyway. So
how old is Chocolatito?
How
old is Roman Gonzalez?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's 33.
Right, and he's been through wars. He's been fighting a long time.
Yeah. Bro,
so he's gotten to this point. He's finally got back to this point. You're like, okay, I'm 33 or older. We're not sure. I've got this much time remaining in my body. So to me, when he has to take a step back and fight somebody else again to get back to fight him again, you're losing 2 fights towards that title.
So let me ask you. Here's a question. You can kind of put a button on this one. Given all the wars he's been through, if Chocolatito comes out on top Saturday night, does this fight take so much out of him that when he fights the next guy who's he may not be just as good as Estrada, but he's going to be very, very good? Does he necessarily win that fight? He's 33. This could have been his last hurrah, right? This is where he gets back.
What I'm saying is, it's not that this fight took so much out of him. What I'm saying is, at his age, now he's got 2 more fights after this loss to get back to where he is now, or to where he was going into this fight.
I guess when you say get back, I guess that's where the confusion is between you and I, because I feel like Chocolatito is one of the best 2 or 3 guys in the division. So you say go back.
Had he won this fight, it was for a title, right? Or was it the eliminator? Okay, it was for the title. Yes. All right. So now you got to go back and fight the next guy below you. You're not going to get a rematch right away because the scorecards didn't denote it because of that 117-111, and then you had a split decision, but you had one that was 117-111.
It didn't hurt Triple G Canelo, and that first scorecard was trash, and they ran it back.
But it gave him a draw.
The best 2 guys.
But they gave Triple G and Canelo a draw in that first one. So yeah, you get a draw. Now you can run it back. They didn't give Triple G the loss he earned. They gave Roman Gonzalez a loss. Chocolatito got a loss in this one. If it was a draw, then he would say, yeah, we need to run this back. But you give him a loss, you lost it. Now you got another number 1 contender or someone fighting for your number 1 contender spot. One of the two. Either you drop down to number 2 or 3 and this next person gets a shot at Estrada, or you fight the next guy up. And then if you win that one, now you get another shot at Estrada. I just think sometimes you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah, it's hard to catch it in it once. I will say this, and we're going to close it out. if we've ever seen a boxer that everybody loved, it's Chocolatito. So if something can be done, it'll be done for him, bro. Now on to your soap opera, and I hope you've been keeping up with this, because if not, I would be severely disappointed.
Get ready to be disappointed. Go ahead.
Oh, well, here we go. Casual. Bro, Tyson Fury said that Wilder might be next, or he may be taking a sabbatical from boxing in general. A totally different tune from what we heard a week ago when it was all Fury and Joshua. Now that it's like, that's the reason. Now Fury's like, yeah, maybe Wilder's next, but if not, maybe I'm taking a break from boxing. Bro,
all smoke and mirrors. Yes, all smoke and mirrors.
So I know this is really getting you up. Your blood vessels are expanding. You feel good about this. You're trying to hide behind your stoicism because, you know, we're Wilder.
Because I realized back then what was going on. And I said this, if he lost arbitration, he may walk away. And you were like, no, he ain't gonna do that. Here's what you got. Here's what I keep in mind. If he has beaten Wilder twice illegally, if that is the case, and he knows the eyes are going to be upon him this time, with everything being out in the open, he loses nothing by walking away. He's never cared what the public said about him. He only likes the immediate, the instant gratification, which he got standing in the ring singing Bye Bye Miss American Pie while the ignorant Americans sang with him in Madison Square Gardens. Or was that Vegas? No, that was MSG, wasn't it?
Yeah. No. That was MGM.
That was MGM. Okay. So I don't see Fury really worrying about it. I could see him walking away, leaving the belt on the canvas. Because he doesn't need a belt for a huge fight with Anthony Joshua. Unlike Wilder, who needs the belt, Fury doesn't need the belt. Because he's in the eyes of the Brits the real champ, because he knocked off who? Deontay Wilder. The big bad black American. He knocked him off. Your thoughts?
I just hope the fight happens. I mean, I don't, at this point, I think somebody should pump a bag of money and make the fight happen, because you're going to make it all back. And I think both guys have done a great job of creating enough of a spectacle around not only the fight, but the sport in of itself. Bro, it's the heavyweight clash that everybody wants to see. There's 2 fights. 3 fights everybody wants to see. Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury,
Wilder,
Fury. Any of those other 2 guys in that order. Those are 3 guys that we all want to see fight. Yeah. We like Andy Ruiz. We like a couple other guys, but we really just want to see these 3 guys, because by and large, we all fight these 3 guys are the cream of the crop.
Listen, if Fury drops the title, if he takes a sabbatical and drops the title, the WBC would be so smart to have a 1 through 4 ranked tournament. Single elimination. Semifinals on one night, the finals 5 months from then.
What's interesting about this whole thing, bro, is, like I said, I just think that the fight should happen. But here's the thing. Before Fury came out and said what he said, Wilder issued a statement saying that, he's, getting ready, he's he hasn't lost anything, he's in the ring working a lot. And he comes out and he says, there are 2 fights I see happening if I can't get Anthony Tyson Fury. That's Andy Ruiz and Dillian White. So that tells me that, 1, Wilder wants a belt, that he has a plan in case Fury vacates or Fury, takes a sabbatical.
Or he loses arbitration.
We know the WBC wants Wilder to have a belt. It can give Wilder a secondary belt. And now there's the intrigue that you needed to get all the legalities involved to legally make the next fight happen. I just think that nobody cares at the end of the day about any of the hearsay. Make the fight happen. This is going to be an asterisk on both guys' resume if they don't fight each other a 3rd time.
I agree. Make the fight happen. But the worst thing Deontay Wilder could have is a secondary belt. That's the worst thing he could have. That's
I
worse.
just think it makes the fight mandatory on paper.
No,
That's
it doesn't.
all. I don't think it does anything for his
It
legacy.
doesn't, because that rematch clause didn't make the fight mandatory on paper. So what's this going to do?
Well, the rematch clause didn't happen was because that was something that Team Wilder forfeited in the first fight. The contract was already set, bro, for a rematch, regardless of how it ended. So the due diligence on Wilder, because he was the A side in the first fight, it should have been on them. But I guess they didn't see this far ahead, and now.
No, the rematch clause was in this second contract. It wasn't.
For some reason, why?
It depends on who you're listening to, because if you listen to Bob Arum, who's spoken out of four sides of his mouth, sometimes he'll say, "Hey, the rematch clause was up until October." Then he'll say, "Well, the rematch clause was in December." Then ESPN came out and said, "No, the contract is valid. We postponed the fight until they wanted either February or March of this year. They didn't want it in December or October. One, because you got college football. Two, you look at the huge UFC cards, and then you look at the other boxing cards. There were too many things going on in October and in December. ESPN were the ones that said they wanted to move that fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I agree with you, though. I wanted to play out one way or the other. I want to see the fight happen. I don't want to see the heavyweight championship held hostage, and that's what's happening.
Hair is the proverbial urine in your Cheerios. According to ESPN, a fight deal has just been signed by Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. The details are to be worked out as far as a site, but the contract has been signed according to Eddie Hearn and ESPN. So, bro, looks like we're going to get that fight before we get to see Wilder back in the ring. So it looks like Wilder's going to have to fight maybe Dillian White or Andy Ruiz or someone of that ilk to stay busy until he gets this guy, and that's already a 2-fight deal. So
we got to find out if the arbitration deal has already gone through.
I don't know, but we'll see. But that was just, I just saw that via Twitter. ESPN first just announced it, and then it just came from SiriusXM Boxing and Ringside Boxing. So I'm sure we'll get more verification, but ESPN is the first big media outlet to report this as far as what I'm seeing.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Wait, now Bleacher Report. So yeah, looks like this might be official.
Okay. It's funny because I had heard somebody say a while back that because neither Fury nor Joshua really wanted to fight Wilder. Now, we know Joshua really hasn't wanted to fight Wilder. Either that or Eddie Hearn didn't want him to fight him. I'll put it that way. Now, this was months ago. I had heard speculation that they would go ahead and make the fight anyway. And even if they had to do, even if it was a fight under protest, the casual fan's not going to care. They're going to buy the fight. They're going to watch the fight. They're going to enjoy the fight. But again, does Wilder ever get another shot at his title, or is it 2 or 3 years from now?
I don't think so, bro. And it's official, bro. It's rolling in on all the websites now. Fox News, ESPN, CBS Sports. Yeah. So,
wow, for that to happen during the show, that's amazing.
Kind of ironic, right?
Yeah.
Well, Team Wilder got the work cut off, and they got to find a good dance partner. They got to keep Wilder busy, and they got some things to work on. Because if he does get a crack at it, bro, it's going to be probably 18 months to 2 years from now. He's 34. How old is the champ? 34? 33?
34.
He's the older of the three.
Yeah. He's older than Fury?
Yes.
That's right. We talked about that. Fury just looks old.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, now we got that out of the way, bro. We can move on to something else.
Wow. Hey, shout out to Angela Hill. Hopefully you woke up from your partying.
Night of binge drinking.
Weekend of binge drinking. she talking about getting drunk.
Say that, bro. She couldn't drink before the fight. Now,
listen, she fought early. She fought before 8:00, so she already talked about at that point going drinking. So I don't think it took Angela long to turn up.
Listen, bro, I just look like I have just got the news of the day only because Wilder Fury. Wilder Joshua. Joshua Fury is gonna be sometime down the line. Guess what fight I just saw announced for this weekend, bro?
What?
You ain't gonna believe it, but it's gonna get you hyped. You ready?
Yeah.
Derek Brunson, Kevin Holland.
Yeah, no, they've been talking about that.
Bro, but it's official now.
It was official. It was on the calendar.
UFC just posted it to their Twitter 30 seconds ago. So maybe we was hearing rumblings about it, but it sounds like it's signed and ready to go for this Saturday. Wow.
They actually ran an ad during the fight on that.
I didn't have the chance. I didn't have the ability to watch the fight, but according to media outlets, bro, isn't this the great thing about combat sports? Boxing gives us Joshua Fury, and the UFC says, you know what? We might not have that to give you right now, but we'll give you something that's going to really salivate your palate, get you going. Derek Brunson, Kevin Holland, bro, combat sports is winning right now. This is a good Monday, bro.
But this is not new, bro, because they were talking even last week about how Kevin Holland is such a trash talker. And how this is just going to be a fight filled with animosity. I'm looking forward to it. Either
way, I'm hyped. You got me hyped, bro.
I'm hyped about that.
I'm sorry I didn't know about it as long as it's before you did, because wow. Woo, this is going to be a good fight.
It's going to be good.
That's going to be a good, bro, that fight could be a main event fight.
It is.
Is it? Because Kevin Holland's outside the top 10, right?
It's the main event is on the main card for March 20th.
Okay.
Derek Brunson versus Kevin Holland. Yes, sir.
Man.
That main card starts at 10 p.m. on ESPN Plus. It's gonna be good. And you got Gregor Gillespie versus Brad Riddle on that one, or Riddell. I don't know how he pronounces it. But
Gillespie, I like Gillespie.
I was gonna say I've seen both of them fight. It's gonna be a decent card. Starts off with I don't know. I need to look at that. I don't know if it starts out with the ladies or not. But don't forget, the 27th, y'all need to be ready. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou.
See, and there you go.
Look,
there you go, jumping the gun. We ain't forgot about that. We got to give that fight all the
the
circumstance it deserves next week.
I bet you don't know who got added to the card recently.
I do not. Please, who?
2 people. Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida, and Tyron Woodley.
O'Malley.
Tyron Woodley versus Vincente Luque.
Okay. Okay. I mean, man, those are, I don't want to see, look.
Plus you got Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega. So
right, that's the co-main. That's the one. Mm-hmm. No, Miocic and Ngannou was the one, but that's the one too. Man, Dana White. Dang it.
Hey, did you see that clip I sent you about the dude from Monster? It kind of explained it a little better.
Yes, I did. I didn't watch the whole clip, but yes, I did see where you sent me that, bro.
It made more sense to me when I looked at that. It really broke it down as he's one of the people in charge of approving sponsorship contracts. And the reason why he got called out was if you won't take pictures of him or do videos of him or comment on his page, on his website, so he can make money off of you, then he threatens your sponsorship deal. So a lot of fighters are really getting sick of dealing with him. Hans, I can't remember his last name. First name is Hans though. All right, so listen. Let's look at the fallout from some of these fights.
Okay.
I give a shout out, and I know people don't really talk about the person who fought first on the prelim card, but Matthew Semmelsberger, you defeated Jason Witt in 16 seconds. You should be back on the card this weekend. You had all that training for a 16-second
man,
fight.
Listen, this is why you are not in fight management, bro. You are not a slave driver. What are you doing? Man, let the man get a week or two out. Give him.
He didn't even work. He got paid. He didn't even work.
Listen, he had to listen. Give him in a couple weeks, bro. Then put him back in. Give him a couple weeks, bro. My dog said, "Hey, get back in there."
Exactly.
Put that sandwich down and get back on the scale. Listen, bro.
Stop drinking with Angela. Get back in the ring.
You gotta do better. I bet she gets some time off.
She don't want no time off. She tell me I can drink all weekend and start training on Monday.
Start training, yeah. Listen, man. You know what's funny about her, bro? I've been watching her social media because she's kind of figured it out. Like her social media, especially her Instagram, is taking off. You know what I like about this? What I'm seeing a lot of camaraderie. And I know it's always been there, but you're starting to see it more visually now, right? Mm-hmm. Between boxers and MMA people, MMA practitioners. Bro, her and Carissa Shields and all these girls follow each other, bro. So it's kind of cool to see them get on there and support each other and kind of, that's dope to see. But yeah, Angela's been working her tail off, bro. Literally, because, she says that she's having to make weight. She's slim and she ain't got no booty. But when she ain't got to cut weight, she says she got some ass, bro. That's just what she says via social media.
I keep looking. I haven't seen it, but she's still.
I know you do. You gotta get a little closer like you normally do.
She's
sure
still.
You see it then, right?
No. Look, I blew that picture up. It still don't.
Hey, bro, you gotta relax, dude.
But
chill.
What I will say
on the show, man.
What I will say, she takes all of her attributes, and it becomes a very attractive package. Very attractive.
That is such a nice way of saying that I'm a pervert, bro. I like that about you, bro.
You are a pervert, but
you're doing very well.
No, she's a very attractive girl. I mean, a woman rather. And if you look at her, but she's a very attractive woman.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm just gonna say that what also makes her more attractive in your view is that she's a byproduct of your area where you're originally from, the DMV.
She's from Clinton, Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, don't be trying to be smug and coy. Like, oh yeah, she's good and well, that's part of it, bro.
No, it's not.
If she was from Florida, it'd have been, yeah. But bro, you see how she acts, bro? You see how she talks?
Here's how I smash that argument. Here's how I smash it.
Nothing.
Yes, it does. When I saw that chick from 4 Miles,
Bro, that ain't the story you told me, bro. You told me that she asked you how you were doing. You said fine. She clubbed you over the head and drug you in the cave. Next thing you know, you woke up, bro, and you was locked in. That's what you told me because you can't go nowhere, bro. You told me.
No, what I told you was when I woke up, she was standing at the front of the cave looking out, and I said, "Look at that behind! Whoa!" And I clubbed myself just so I ain't have to leave.
There you go. Okay, I like it.
Wow, I can't believe you told that lie. Talk about she clubbed me over there. Well, bro, she is a cougar.
Yeah, bro. You say she got them hands, bro.
She did.
She ain't scared to go there. So
we had to get that agreement straight in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't put your hands on me. I won't put this chair on you.
Hey, man.
So
okay. All righty then.
Listen.
Alrighty then. Yes, sir.
Guy in my neighborhood told me on his 72nd birthday he went and bought a cure for erectile dysfunction. And I'm like, I'm just trying to walk my in-laws' dog. Why are you stopping me to tell me this? So I'm listening. He said, I went to this medicine man over off of Orient Road. And the medicine man told me that for those of you who don't know, Orient Road here in Tampa is near the Seminole Reservation. One of them. So he said, he gave him this powder and said, what you need to do, my friend, is take a teaspoon of it. And when you're ready, you say 1, 2, 3, and you'll be as manly as you've ever been. I'll measure to be able to do pull-ups on it. And it'll last as long as you want it to last. He said, so I say 1, 2, 3. He said, say 1, 2, 3. He said, now when you're done, your partner has to say 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes away till the next full moon. Got it? He said, I got it. Man, ran through stoplights, stop signs, past the school bus in the school zone to get home because he was anxious to try this with his wife. Came home, came in his house. He said he told his wife, "Honey, meet me in the bedroom." So she took her time getting in the bedroom. By then, he had taken a spoonful of it, was standing there in all his glory. Talk about 1, 2, 3. Boing, 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 boing. And she looked and she said, "Wow." Started tearing her clothes off. And she said, "Wait, but what was the 1, 2, 3 for?" This should teach you. Do not end your sentence in a preposition or you could end up with a dangling participle.
Bro, you gotta chill, dude. Dangly parts. Hey, look.
Participle.
More importantly, bro.
Yeah.
Canelo Alvarez, Billy Joe Saunders. Hey, Jerry's real. Are we going?
No.
You're not going. Okay. All right. Well.
I take it you are.
I'm gonna see if I can flex my muscle. Maybe I can get to Dallas. Gotta see Canelo fight at least once, bro. Billy Joe Saunders is gonna be a hell of a fight with a loud crowd, bro. It's gonna be rocking at AT&T Stadium. It might as well be in Mexico City, bro. It's gonna be 80,000 crazy people in there, bro.
It is.
Last time I went to Dallas for a Canelo fight about 4 years ago was against Martin Murray, right, bro?
Oh, that was a fight.
And that was bananas, and
Yeah.
Martin, and that was some mandatory. No, I actually thought he was gonna win the fight.
Man, I know we don't pick winners, but Canelo stops Saunders.
What?
Canelo stops Saunders.
Listen, we gonna. Ooh, boy, wow. We got some. Ooh, okay. We gonna have some weeks for you to chew on that, bro. We gonna have some discussions because you said that. Very matter of fact, and I think you forgot who Billy Joe Saunders was.
Oh,
But you
I
will
didn't
soon
forget.
be reminded on this show, bro. Rest assured on that.
I didn't forget.
March Madness is here. Are you excited, bro? Or do you not care?
I like the fact that the Georgetown Hoyas with their coach Patrick Ewing. How do you not know who Patrick Ewing is, by the way? When
That's
he was
crazy. Listen, Jimmy, listen. Jimmy, Nolan should just sell the team. What is he doing, bro? The Knicks not recognize, bro.
you didn't
Oh my
recognize
God.
Patrick Ewing in the
Oh,
garden.
bro.
In the garden.
Bro. First of all, and a bunch of 7-foot guys walking around looking like Patrick Ewing.
Because he's very distinctive.
That's only a joke for the culture. Outside
Yes.
of that, bro, listen. That is New York Knicks basketball. It's not Walt Clyde Frazier. It ain't Willis Reed. It ain't none of that.
It was.
Ewing,
Then it
bro.
was Bernard King. Then it was Patrick Ewing. And
And
that's
it's
who's
only
there.
Patrick Ewing.
Only Patrick Ewing.
He will be the greatest New York Knick ever, and I'm willing to go out on a burning ship with that. That's the equivalent to not recognizing Magic Johnson in LA or Michael Jordan in Chicago. Bro, certain guys build and they're iconic with these franchises.
Oh, Kobe Bryant in Colorado.
Gosh. Too soon, bro. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I got on a roll, bro. I was listening to you. I got on.
No, you're inappropriate. You're inappropriate. You need to change. All right. But yeah, bro, Jimmy Nolan, come on, bro. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I hate the Knicks. I hate everything New York. Bro.
Oh my
That's just
goodness,
foul,
bro.
You can't do that.
That is foul. You can't. Yeah.
can't do that.
But you can't say that either. But hey, shout out to the Georgetown Hoyas. They won the Big East championship. They're in the tourney. They will win at least the first round, advance to the second round. I'm excited about that. Gonzaga undefeated. Too many things are lining up to be coincidences.
Blasphemy, bro. Why did you not mention Jamal Howard and Michigan?
I'm getting
Wolverines,
there.
bro?
I'm getting
Okay,
there.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Go
My
ahead.
goodness, you think I'm gonna forget about that? Too many coincidences are lining up. The last time anyone went undefeated and won the title was not UNLV because they were robbed by Duke, but it was Indiana back in 1976, the bicentennial. How ironic that now you have another undefeated team coming into the tournament in Indianapolis in a pandemic. They need a feel-good story. Gonzaga has never, ever won a national championship.
Has some great players, by the way.
Yeah.
Great players.
Yeah.
Coach Few, if he's still the head coach there, has built a phenomenal basketball program, a top-tier program in this nation, bro. It's such a small school.
Now, didn't Wally Zerbiak go there, or did he go to Valparaiso?
No, Wally went somewhere else. Wally didn't go to Gonzaga.
Okay. Yeah, he's
Bro, Bro, we could. I mean, Steve, Ronnie Turioff, bro. I'm missing a. Bro, they've had a lineage of players.
Yeah, they have.
Program,
They have.
bro. That's amazing.
They have.
That's a powerhouse. That's a real program.
And you wonder, it's like, how did you build that with the schools around you and in the area
And
you're
with the-
in?
Right, and with the academic standard, bro, they're the equivalent to almost like a Duke on the West Coast, bro. That's something to be, really applauded there.
Yeah, they play dog basketball. I like it.
Right, like the Bulldog mascot, bro. But check this out too. This is where we also can admit that it's a little easier to do it in basketball than it is football.
Oh yeah,
You get 5 or 6 or 7 really good players. You set.
and
Football, you need.
and you can
turnover.
pluck them out of anywhere. That's the thing about basketball.
And
You
football,
can,
you need turnover. You gotta
Right.
you have 2, 3 deep.
you
Yeah.
have a handful of guys every year in football who are just so talented. It didn't matter the coaching they had in high school. They're just that
Right.
talented.
Right.
Basketball, you can learn how to play shooting against a fire alarm outside or a peach basket, or you don't need. You can just be a good athletic and coachable, and they can turn you into a great player. So it's amazing. Listen, Fab Five come back to the tournament. Juwan Howard. Now, when we were looking at the Fab Five, now this is when my freshman year in college was their freshman year in college. I remember the debate when they asked Steve Fisher, "Are you gonna start all 5 of these guys? They're all freshmen. That's unheard of. Why would you start all 5 freshmen?" And Steve Fisher said, I think he said because his dad told him to. Juwan Howard, Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, and Ray Jackson. Y'all, when his brothers stepped on the court, they changed college basketball. Not just with the baggy shorts.
They changed basketball.
They changed basketball. Not just with the baggy shorts, but with the style of play.
Everything.
Mind you,
Yeah.
the UNLV era had just ended.
Yep.
So Duke just knew it was going to be an easy path straight through. Because they still had.
In Kentucky.
Right. I mean, and Duke still had Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill, Tanio Lang. I mean, Duke still
Lang, yeah.
the Duke still had the boys there.
Bobby
Hurley. And I think they still had Danny, because Danny hadn't transferred to Princeton yet. Danny Hurley. But then these kids out of Michigan, all of them could dunk. And that was something you hadn't seen since University of Houston, where all of them could get up the floor and dunk. I don't mean put the ball in the basket. I mean hurt your feelings. Dunk. And then they could peel off and shoot mid-range, and and they had 3 possible. They could shoot from 3 points. They were smart. They brought street ball to the hardwood. It was amazing. So Juwan Howard was the last guy off that crew that I would have seen coming back to coach.
Well, not really. Once you start paying attention to his NBA career, especially towards the end, you can see it coming.
I know. I'm talking about then. I'm talking about watching the Fab Five then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fair assessment.
But I'm so proud of him now. And when he took the Michigan job, people were like, oh, they just hiring him for his name. Really? So he brought Phil Martelli on as an assistant, the coach from St. Joe's. He wasn't playing. Juwan Howard came back to Michigan to finally get that gold ring instead of those 2 silver rings they got for second.
Yeah, but more important than that, man, Juwan Howard, when you hear the NBA people talk about him, his teammates and the coaching staff, especially his last few years at Miami, bro, he's been primed and ready to be a coach for some time now. And this was the perfect situation for him to get a chance to go back to Michigan. And guess what, man? Also just get to change a little bit of the tape that might be on their legacy for how a lot of things unfolded, especially when they came out, in the last 10 or so years talking about things that happened that they probably should just kind of let go or kept in-house. So all this is, like you said, is a feel-good story here. I'm on board with it, man. I definitely, sentimentally, I'm pulling for the Michigan Wolverines, bro.
Me too.
Especially since my Kentucky Wildcats are out the first time since 1977 or some crazy number like that, right?
They're not
the
just
first time
out.
University of Kentucky and Duke will not be in a tournament in like 60 years, bro. It's crazy.
And Indiana. They were talking. No, not Indiana.
Indiana's had
No.
struggles.
They were talking about Kentucky, Duke, and it was somebody else hadn't made the tournament since when they have all been out since 1976. Was it UCLA? No, Kansas. Is it Kansas? No, Kansas is
Kansas in it.
It's another one.
Whoever it is, it ain't as big as Kentucky or Duke not making it.
It is. I mean, they wouldn't have brought it up.
Because you think about it, what programs are on par with Kentucky and Duke? Carolina, Indiana.
UCLA.
They ain't won nothing like 20 years, bro. It's hard to put them up there. All these things we're talking about have won recently and consistently throughout the 2000s.
Wait a minute. When's the last time Duke won a national championship?
It ain't probably like 15, 10 years ago, bro. They won in the 2000s, bro.
No, I thought the last time they won was when Jason Williams was point guard.
They've won in the 2000s, bro. I'm sure of it.
Keep talking. I'm looking.
But yeah, so that's just crazy that Kentucky and Duke are not in it, bro. I mean,
when did Duke last win the NCAA
Indiana, North Carolina, UCLA. Yeah, I mean, for tradition, they've only been doing a lot lately. But okay, yeah, I can throw them in there. But yeah, so this is crazy, but I'm here for it, bro. Before we get up against it, I mean, I think we can take this right up into the minute mark. We need to give our proper respects to Marvelous Marvin Hagler, bro. So I'm prepared to give these last 15 minutes dedicated to just him. Bro, the first superstar athlete that I ever remember seeing in person was Marvin Hagler. I was young. I was about 5 or 6, and my parents had brought me to Busch Gardens. I think it was like my first time ever going to a theme park. And Marvin Hagler was holding training camp here in Tampa. And for whatever reason, on this particular day, he was training at or near Busch Gardens. And I remember my dad taking off and running behind these mob of people. He was like, what's going on? And me and my mom, he just kind of left us standing there. Like, what's going on? He's like, man, that's Marvin Hagler. And all I remember is a bunch of people surrounding him and people with cameras. And it was a lot for me to take, and I didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But I knew that whoever this guy was had to be really important. And that was the first famous person famous to me at this time that I ever saw in person was Marvin Hagler. So when he passed over the weekend, it was a little different for me because, like I said, that was the first real star I remember seeing. And then I remember watching his fight against Ray Leonard and just the entire family being gathered around the TV, knowing this was just a big deal, but not really understanding what I was watching. And then as I began to really love and have an appreciation for the sport, as I watched that fight over the years, replay after replay with him and Ray Leonard, him and Tommy Hearns, him and Duran, bro, he was just a different fighter, but he was also a different man. Over the past years, as we begin to give these people their flowers while they're still alive, you go back and watch old clips and old interviews, and when he was talking about the fight with Tommy Hearns, in the aftermath, the way he was talking about the fight, it wasn't lip service. It wasn't a very good acting job. He really believed with all his soul, his conviction. You didn't meet many people like that. And then he was also from Lynn, Massachusetts, which to me added a different element to it. And I felt that interesting because Ronald Ellis is from Lynn, Massachusetts. And he just fought Benavidez over this past weekend. So it's just some little things that was going on, bro. But Marvelous Marvin Hagler, man, we will probably never see anything like him again, bro. And just because I don't know if that level of authenticity will ever be met, bro, this man walked away having a grudge against the sport of boxing. And he never came back. And it just makes you wonder, like, wow, like, what would happen if he came back? So I don't know. And I want to talk about him as a man more so than him as a fighter, because that is not even worth a discussion because he's one of the best to ever do it. So, but him as a man and what he stood for and how he moved and lived his life, I found way more interesting than how great of an ass kicker he was, which he was one of the best to ever do that, bro.
You're right. Listen, Marvelous Marvin Hagler was, to me, and this is, my mom was the boxing fan. My dad was a boxing fan. My mom was a boxing fiend. So growing up, we would sit up on HBO. That's when I got to stay up late as a kid and watch these fights. There was just something about Marvin Hagler, and you're right, the way he carried himself outside the ring. He was no nonsense. You didn't get any BS from him. If he said it, he was determined he was going to do it. He was the real life, to me, growing up, he was the real life Rocky. He was to the middleweight division between 1980 and 1987 what Mike Tyson was to the heavyweight division. People didn't really want to get in there and face Marvin Hagler. A lot of fights he won before he got in the ring. He was just that dominant. I've never met him personally, but he was just that dominant. When he would come on ABC Sports, college football could be on, but I'm watching Marvin Hagler. He, in our house, he was, it's going to sound rough, I know. He was the 80s version of Joe Louis. He was just that guy. In our family, he was that guy. You didn't get any bigger than Marvin Hagler. I mean, Larry Holmes was dominant at the time, and you had Ray Leonard, and being from Silver Springs, Maryland, we cheered for Ray Leonard, but it was just something about the aura, the bald head, the goatee. It was just something about the aura of that Brockton, Massachusetts mauler. It was just, he was something special inside and outside of the ring. And it wasn't two different Marvin Haglers. It was Marvin Hagler. He wasn't going to let you punk him. He wasn't going to let you goat him into saying something. He wasn't going to let you back him in a corner in an interview. And he wasn't going to fear anybody that stepped in against him. He was incredible to me. He was a phenomenal fighter. And I was saddened and shocked at his passing. I didn't realize he had been in the hospital. But
yeah, it's and you know what, bro? When we deal with
and I'm sorry, shout out to his wife Kay.
Boxing doesn't do a good job of giving their guys their flowers.
No,
we know this. Boxing doesn't have anything to protect his fighters. We know this. Marvin Hagler seems to be a very smart and practical guy, and he's been able to live his life comfortably. It's not so much for his counterpart, Tommy Hearns, who by all accounts is doing okay, but we know Tommy is not doing as well as he should be.
Right.
With all that being said, man, a man of so much principle. I've had the pleasure of talking to his son, Glenn, on a couple different occasions because he trains here from time to time.
Okay.
And I don't ask him about his pops because I'm sure the couple times I've had a conversation with him, I asked him about his pops. I watched him. I watched the way he moved. I watched the way he handled himself in and out of the ring in just those one or two couple sparring sessions I had the privilege of attending. And you can tell he was raised by a man. Even if whatever, you can tell the way he's carries himself, right? That he was taught by someone that held themselves in high regard and with a sense of pride. That was Marvin Hagler, man. And I as I look at these young athletes today, I just wish that more of them would carry themselves in this frame of life, because it takes you so much further than being a prisoner of the moment. And I don't want to say not believing in yourself, because I feel like a lot of these guys do, but just being convicted about how you feel.
Right. Listen, I know we're getting up against it. Shout out to his wife, Kay, and his son and his family. Your dad, your husband, your family member, he's loved and he is greatly missed. He's a class act. He's a gentleman. I know we throw that word around a lot, but realistically, this man was a class act and a gentleman. He made me want to buy Old Spice when I was a kid, because he said not using it is uncivilized.
Uncivilized. That war hat, you see everybody wearing, WAR war, that hat you see everybody wearing, Marvin Hagler started that.
Really?
Yeah. The first time that hat showed up was when he was training for, I want to say it was Google it, because it's the image of him in the interview with the glasses on with the red hat. I want to say it was either the red hat or the Hearns fight. One of those fights. But
here's the funny thing.
Man,
the funny thing about that, last thing I want to add, I watched our coach showed the Ray Leonard Marvin Hagler fight during PE one day. He showed it in the locker room when I was at Greco. Bo Rye showed the fight. I was one of the few. Now, mind you, I rooted for Ray Leonard because Silver Springs, Maryland. But this is when I realized I could be objective. I was one of the few kids, teenagers in that locker room at Greco Junior High School that walked away feeling like Ray Leonard lost that fight. Now, that's just how much love and respect I have for Marvin Hagler. But I still, even when I rewatch it, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, listen, and unfortunately, this show ends the way it started, talking about controversy, bro. It always be one of those what if fights, bro. It be one of those what if fights. And sadly, Marvin was so upset and visibly bothered by it and emotionally scarred by this fight. He never fought again, but he walked away. So we never got to see a part 2.
Well,
that's it for us, bro.
It's interesting
because
I think that takes integrity. If you feel like you've been wrong that much, to walk away, because they were starting to make real money. That money was starting to come in for real at that point. This is like 84, 85. They were finally starting.
They fought in 87, but yeah, you're right.
Or 87.
Around that time, the golden years of boxing. Yeah, that's
when they started to get paid. When you heard Tyson getting paid.
Everybody was getting paid pretty good around this time. Yeah, this was when boxing was it.
Right. So I won't hold it up. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my wife, who's actually on spring break. Didn't realize that till she came back home this morning.
Yeah. Need you do better.
Yeah. So shout out to my daughter who's not on spring break. And shout out to my pops and Fighter Share Nation. Thank you all for joining us. Don't believe half of what this man says and check on the other half.
Sounds about right. I'm okay with that, brother. Check and double check and then verify and check again. We'll see y'all tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. Make sure you're here. We get to talk more about all the good stuff that y'all want to hear, man. Spread the love. It's crazy out there. The weather's real. If you get a chance to get outside and be active, we out here. Fighter Share Nation. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.
That's if you're in Florida. If you're in New York, stay in the warmth.